friends, my name is Jennifer King and I'm with the Adult Services Department at Clearview Library District. I'm so happy that you're joining me tonight. This is our Take It and Make It craft. We're going to do our Halloween sign tonight. Took a little break away from this for a little bit during the summer while we had our summer adventure program. So I missed this. I'm happy to jump right back in. And this is the perfect sign, little craft sign to do for the fall. This is our trick or treat sign. It's actually brought to us by Alexis Kelly with Kelly Decor. Thank you, Kelly, for all these wonderful kits that you provide for us. So let's jump right in and get started. We're going to first go over the materials that should have been included in your kit. Of course, you'll have your block of wood. I've gone ahead and painted mine white ahead of time. This is 2 coats. And I let the first coat dry for about 5 minutes before I applied the second coat. And then I let the whole thing dry for about 30-40 minutes or so. You want to make sure your paint is completely dry before you apply the stencil. Speaking of, here's our stencil, cute little trick or treat with a couple little bats on it. We've also included 5 different colors of paint in your kit. Sorry, you can see my dog off to the side here. She's taking a nap next to me. Okay, so we've got white paint, which of course I used for the background of our sign. There's also green, got some purple for you. There's yellow and black. Of course, you are not obligated to use the colors that came with your kit. If you have some other colors that you want to use for this sign, by all means, go ahead and use whatever you'd like to use. Also in your kit, you've got 1 paintbrush. If you have more at home, I strongly advise that you use them. That way you don't have to clean off your brush when you change out your paint colors. I just have the 1, so I will be cleaning off my brush. So I've got a little cup of water here to do that. Also in your kit, you've got a little safety pin. This is going to come in handy when you are removing the stencil at the end once it's all painted. I'll show you how to do that towards the end of this. There's also some written instructions that you can refer back to if you're not doing this craft alongside me right now. If you want to refer back to it, it lists all the materials as well as step-by-step instructions. And finally, we have a little flyer from Kelly Decor. This tells all about her business. It lists her website and her Facebook page. You can check this out. She's got a ton of really cute signs on her website. You can have craft parties, order a couple of these cute little signs. She's got every holiday, all kinds of occasions. Take a look, invite your friends, family over, have a craft night painting these signs. It's a super cool, good time. And also one last thing that's not included in your kit is something with a straight edge. I'm using a credit card. You're going to use this right after you put the stencil on your block of wood. You'll need this to kind of make sure you don't have any air bubbles between the stencil and your block of wood. So let's get started. Of course, the first thing that we need to do is put the stencil on our block of wood. And Alexis made a how-to video on how to do that. So I'm going to cut away and let her show you how to do that, and then we'll get back to it and start painting.
All right, I wanted to show you how to remove the stencil. So you rub it, and it makes it easier if you rotate it down. All right. So you get a corner and you want to make sure that all of the blue pieces stay down and that none of them are on this white section. So you're gonna peel it, and if you get to a point, so see how my little A piece, it's not sticking down. I just go and I just add a little bit of pressure, and see that didn't work either. So you can kind of help it by flattening it. If you can see that, flatten it, and then just kind of peel it away. This is really good to do with stencils that you have that have a lot of words on it, especially the smaller they are, the harder it kind of gets. So you want to be able to you just use the force to be able to pull it as you go, and you want to make sure that there are none there. just like that. Then you flip it over and line it up so it looks good to you. If you want, you can always, if you have like a ruler, you can always measure and make sure that one side measures the same as the other side. Then, once it looks good, then you take this is where you'll use your credit card. All right, and then now this is where you're going to take this off. So you don't want it to stick like that. You want the blue to stay down. All right, and then you have it, and I usually will lightly run this over it just to make sure that there's no air bubbles or anything, so that when you paint, that it won't bleed underneath. So that's how you put your stencil on.
Okay, so now we're ready to start painting. I'm going to start with my black and paint my bats. A good tip is to make sure you do several light coats. It's better to do a couple light coats than just one big thick coat. That'll help with bleeding. And then make sure you let each coat of paint dry before you apply the next coat. So I'm going to go ahead and start painting my bats, and then we'll move on to the letters. And again, make sure that the blue part of your stencil has good contact with your wood. That's going to help with bleeding as well. And just going to lightly paint it. There's one little bat. I'm going to do the baby bat. There we go. And I'm going to just give this a few minutes, let it dry, and then do a second coat of black. Okay, I just finished my second coat of black. So next I'm going to move on to the purple. I'm going to paint my oar purple. I went ahead and cleaned off my paintbrush. And same thing, we're just going to do 2 light coats, and I'm going to just double check that my stencil has made good contact with my wood so that I don't have any bleed through. And we're just going to do a light coat like this. Let it dry, and then I'll do a second coat. Okay, I have done 3 coats of purple on my oar. While it's finishing drying, I'm going to move on to the next color, next word. I'm going to paint trick in the green that we provided in your kit. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. And again, remember, light, thin coats. Okay, so I have done 3 coats of green paint. I've moved on to the word treat, and I'm using yellow paint for this one. I've already done 1 coat so far. I'm about to start on my second. This is looking super cute. I can't wait to peel the stencil off and see how it turned out. And then I like to paint in multiple directions just to make sure I'm getting all the nooks and crannies. Okay, I think 2 coats will be all right for the yellow. I'm going to let it dry a little bit and then see how it looks, and then maybe do a 3rd coat. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for now. You want to let your paint completely dry before you pull your stencil up, so I'm going to give this quite a bit of time before it's completely dry. And then I'll come back and we'll peel our stencil off and I will show you the final result. Okay, so through the magic of television, we are ready to peel our stencil off. I've got 3 coats of each color on here. So let's go ahead and carefully peel our stencil off and see what it looks like. Okay, so here's what I have so far. You can see I had a little bit of bleed through, and that's okay. We can touch that up with the white paint. But also some of the stencil got left behind when I was peeling it off. That's when your safety pin comes in handy. So just going to take your little safety pin, and you don't want to dig into the wood. You want to try to grab the corner of the stencil with your safety pin and just gently lift it up, and then you can eventually just grab it and gently lift it off of your sign. Okay, so I peeled off all of the remaining stencil. Here's my end result. You can see I had a little bit of bleed through, as well as some of the paint got pulled up too when I was pulling off my stencil. Totally fine. I made sure I gave you guys plenty of paints in case this happens to you too. So you can just go over and touch it up. You can go over the bleed through parts with your white paint, and then just wherever the paint got lifted up with the stencil, just use that color to touch that up as well. Although I kind of like how it looks, honestly. I think it kind of makes the font look kind of like a spooky font. So overall, super cute. I cannot wait to show my little boy this when he gets home from school. He absolutely loves Halloween, so he's gonna get a kick out of this one. I hope you enjoyed it as well. As always, please send me pictures of your end result. I want to see how your signs turned out as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and we will see you again soon. Happy Halloween!